Good afternoon, or good whatever time it is when you watch this. This is the severe weather forecast for what'll be Thursday, April the 23rd. Yeah, April 23rd. That's mainly for Kansas and Nebraska because I don't think storms are going to fire in Oklahoma unless the panhandle of Oklahoma, Texas hits near 100 as it's looking right now. But there's one other thing that's kind of going to be play a factor, and the HRRR is pointing towards more convection ahead of the system forming in eastern Kansas and then shifting east slowly. That the one thing that will do is create a sharper divide on the instability, but it also could limit instability. But it's pointing towards storms firing a sort of supercellular, split supercell initially in the 4 to 5 vicinity, and we're talking like areas Concordia, Clay Center up to just south of Lincoln, Nebraska. It looks like there will be a couple of supercells there. By 6 o'clock is when it looks like storms will fire, and it's going to be starting out with Boeing segments with embedded supercells, and one of those is going to be kind of in the Clay Center vicinity, and that's going to track east-southeast towards Manhattan. So in the 6 to 7 o'clock vicinity is when I think that's going to be going through the Manhattan area to just east of Junction City. There's also another supercell that could be embedded in another Boeing segment that's going to go towards Holton and then move east-southeast from there. And then after that, by 8 o'clock, it's going to be just a solid line and mainly damaging winds at that point with a few embedded QLCS circulations that could produce a brief tornado as it goes towards Kansas City. The supercell and significant tornado parameter is maximized near Holton, so that's just a factor. With the supercell kind of being in that general vicinity, that one is going to be one to watch. But I would say over Manhattan, with what I'm seeing, there's points to a very uninterrupted inflow into the storm as it moves into Manhattan, and with it moving in that part of Republican Valley, not having it come from the Flint Hills wind direction, I think there's a better chance of a maximized vorticity as it moves into Manhattan. So, and I'll be working tomorrow, deliver, so this could be a lot of fun at the 6 or 7 o'clock hour with possibly a tornado situation happening in Manhattan if this model materializes. But I think those are the two areas the best chance of a tornado. I think those other supercells are going to be near surface base, and I don't think everything's going to be together because of that early convection if that happens. The cap is going to be a lot stronger farther south, so any storm in Oklahoma, I think, or even southern Kansas, it could happen after sunset when the low-level jet kicks in, but I'm not even convinced that's going to happen at this point. So I'll do more as we get into tomorrow before I do my 10-hour shift, especially if it looks like there's going to be some severe storms. And then going on farther in the weekend, there's going to be chances of severe weather in the southern plains and the Ozarks Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's the one to watch. Everything's starting to point towards a high-end tornado outbreak in south-central, southeastern Kansas into central eastern Oklahoma. So just keep an eye out for that. And there's some things in the models that aren't lining up quite right yet, but everything is kind of leading towards a perfect storm for several supercells, long track tornado situation. So just keep an eye on that. And then transitioning into Monday could be a Dixie Alley tornado outbreak as well. And that could be high end as well with some of the parameters that are going to be coming into play. And this will be the first real Dixie Alley outbreak chance that we've seen in quite a while because of that high pressure that's been kind of parked over the southeast. It's going to finally shift a little bit east and bring some hopefully beneficial moisture down into parts of the southeast. I don't think it's going to get quite to Florida that really needs to rain right now, but that's kind of how everything's looking like it's going to unfold. And on my sojourn back to Oregon, I will be encountering snow. From the Black Hills of South Dakota, there's chances of snow going into the Tetons. So yeah, there's going to be, the winter's still not done yet in parts of the northern part of the country and in the Rockies. So that is the weather synopsis. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will try to get back to you because I'm wrapping some things up with work and then packing. So it's like I'm doing this when I have a brief moment. So, yep, that is the forecast that's going to be for Thursday, April 23rd, that as I see it now.